Good evening, ma'am. This is my report. So my report is about industrial revolution in the 17th century. Intellectual revolutions that define society. The world is constant flux. Everything, including all the material things and ideas, may change accordingly based on the facts, which are an output of human curiosity. Seeking answers to human questions, added scientific facts, evidence, and concepts in the network of knowledge understandable by the mind. It means that the more questions asked, the more knowledge humans become. In order for us to enumerate and understand the major shifts in the history of science and technology, we must familiar with the most important scientific events that change and shape our society during intellectual change in Mesoamerica, Middle East, and Africa. Copernican Revolution. This caused the paradigm shift of how the earth and sun were placed in the heavens or universe. It is the idea that rejected polemic model, Earth is the center of the solar system, and proved the heliocentric model, Sun is the center of the solar system, having the Earth revolving around it. The theories and ideas from ancient thinkers about the natural world and the universe lay the foundation of how we understand astronomy today. Though there is only a small number of extraordinary thinkers during the time of antiquity, there is always a divergence of theories and ideas of philosophers during that time. The fact that the Earth is not the center of the solar system is only one of the results of scientific revolution. Mathematics was the common tool used by ancient astronomers to explain the motion of celestial bodies, and on the later combined with actual observations that provide enough evidence, proving that the Sun is the center of the solar system. The remarkable contributions of ancient astronomers to the development from geocentric to heliocentric model of universe is listed in the table. So, sa Copernican Revolution, this refers to the shift from a geocentric, earth-centered to the heliocentric, sun-centered view of the solar system. So, Copernican Revolution shifts in the field of astronomy from a geocentric understanding of the universe centered around Earth to a heliocentric understanding centered around the Sun, as articulated by the Polish astronomer Nicholas Copernicus in the 16th century. Darwinian Revolution. This has brought a great impact on how people approach biology forever. This revolution provided a different than the theory of creation. The Darwinian Revolution started when Charles Darwin published his book, The Origin of Species, that emphasized that humans are a result of an evolution. Charles Robert Darwin is a biologist who was famously known for his work on evolution and the process of natural selection. He studied divinity in Cambridge, where he met Adam Sidgwick and the naturalist John Henslow, who brought back his interest in biology and geology. With the teaching of the church and the influence of Henslow, Darwin also rejected the idea of landmarks that acquired characteristics are inheritable. His fate altered after 5 years mapping expedition with British Army in 1831, headed by Vice Admiral Robert Fitzroy of the ship named HMS Beagle. He made observations on diversity of organisms in the Galapagos Islands and adaptation, which laid the foundation to develop his theory of evolution and natural selection. Evolution, as explained by Darwin, occurs by means of natural selections. In addition, natural selection might occur because of the following reasons: overproductive and variation. Some species produce many offspring but not all these will survive. It means that not all the offspring do not have the characteristics to survive in the environment. Competition and selection. Competition may or may not be direct, but the idea is always on the survival organism. The organisms that survive more likely reproduce, which transfer their characteristics to their offspring. Environmental change. The environment will not adjust for the organisms, but rather it's always the organisms that will change to adapt the environment. Freudian Revolution. This theory has started to revolutionize psychiatry with Sigmund Freud. This includes the Freudian theory of personality that involves the human development contribute to his or her personality and also his psychoanalysis that is process to achieving proper functioning if a human does not complete his or her developmental stage. Sigmund Freud explained how human mind works and cure its mild mental illness. He calls this method psychoanalysis, and its main goal is to make unconscious conscious. He also developed topographical and structural model of the mind to basically explain the source of human behavior. According to the topographical model of Freud, the mind is divided into three regions. These are subconscious, preconscious, and conscious mind. Conscious mind consists of thoughts that focus on the present states of mind. Preconscious mind consists of what can be retrieved from the memory. Subconscious mind consists of the primitive desires, wishes, or impulse, which is mediated by the conscious mind. The structural model of Freud elaborates his topographical model, which preconscious mind is divided into superego, ego, and etc. Ego drives a social acceptable way to satisfy the demands of ID as it operates the conscious and unconscious mind. ID comprises eros, that life survival instinct of a man, thanatos, the destructive instinct of man. Superego operates based on the principles of morality that drive man to become socially responsible and behave in an acceptable manner. It basically means the superego drives man to follow rules and revolves the conflict between ego and ID. Information age. This has been the era in which technology has been prevalent. It is also known as the computer age that has brought so much change on how are we living today. People view communication as one of the most important tools in understanding society. Communication is defined as the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange information to express idea, thoughts, feelings, etc. to someone else. It took a lot of time or communication to prosper and develop to what is being used today, along with the development of technology that developed to impacts or distance, location, and time were eradicated. Most of us believe that beginning of the information age is the time when computer was made available to people, since computer is the greatest tools used to access the World Wide Web. Information age and consequence is divided into three modern information revolution. First, modern information revolution. Second, modern information revolution. And third, modern information revolution. Okay. Mesoamerican period. It has contributed a lot ideas or discoveries or archaeology. The temple and pyramids leave a lot about architecture that leads us to study more of it. The term Mesoamerica comes from the Greek word mesos, meaning in the middle. This period is characterized by the following civilizations: Olmecs. The top of the society are priests and nobles who live in ceremonial centers. Normal people live in farming villages around the elites. Carved colossal heads from volcanic rocks or portraits of rulers. Inventing calendar and carved hieroglyphic writing into stone. The mother culture of Mesoamerica. Mayans developed methods of farming such as shifting agriculture and race by farming, organized into city-state without political unity but bonded economy, developed numbering system including place value and concept of zero, developed hieroglyphic form of writing that were used for recording astronomical observation, rituals, and religious matter, but was born during the invasion of Spanish conquerors. Middle East. The revolutions in the Middle East were a product of the development and growth of individual nationalism and imperialism for the efforts to Western and modernize Middle Eastern societies and to push the declining power of the Ottoman Empire in the Arab region. Middle East is a term used to describe a geographic location that extends from Egypt to Afghanistan where Islam arose. Islam, however, is a religion of right actions, rules, and laws that began in the 7th century and follows the techniques of Muhammad, who was believed by Muslims as messenger of God. Islam is also an Arabic word meaning submission to God. Islamic rules are symbolized by 5 obligatory acts or the 5 pillars of Islam: witness, worship, fasting, and pilgrimage. If the Roman Catholic Church has the Bible, Islam on the other hand also its holy book called Quran or Quran. Similarly different to other ancient civilizations like Europe, Islam as religion plays an important role not only in Arab ways of living but also in the advancement of science. The pursuit of knowledge is included in the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. This practically of Islam and openness to embracing knowledge resulted to some advancement in the middle of geography, medicine, and mathematics. African Revolution. The fight against colonialism and imperialism in Africa. Africans, like other Eastern civilizations, are pioneers of some advancement in science and technology. They work independently without influence of European science. Some remarkable works of Americans were the field of mathematics, nuclear agriculture, engineering, astronomy, medicine, and navigation. The remarkable contributions of Africans are the following. Africans made use of the first method of counting. The modern concepts of mathematics is globally accepted and used today in high schools was first developed in Africa.